Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Griffin, and I'm a filmmaker based out of Orange County, California. And today I'm actually working with my buddy Jordan here, who's behind the camera. And I just wanted to show you a quick little behind the scenes setup of a multicam production. So come on, I'll take you with me. So for this production, we're using 3 C70s. So we actually just decided to go all C70s because the company owns a couple and then I own one as well. So it kind of made sense. Obviously with the same camera, it's going to be a perfect match all the way around. So 3 C70s. For the A camera, we've got a 35mm lens, just a Canon EF, and that's with the speed booster. The B camera, we've got an 85 1.4, and that's also got the speed booster. And then for our C camera, we're using the RF 24-70. So we'll have a video coming comparing RF lenses versus EF at some point, but it's kind of hard. I'm getting married this week, and there's a lot of stuff going on with work and stuff. So get to it when we can. For tripods, we're just kind of using 2 of these cheapy Manfrottos, which I actually really like these tripods. And then we're also using the Sockler Ace XL on some Flowtech 75 sticks. Jumping over here, kind of the main kind of meat and potatoes of the setup, you could say. This is a really cool piece that I wanted to show off. So this is the AtomX Switcher, and it's like a companion module to the Ninja 5. So I will say, I bought this with my own money. Nobody paid me to say this. It was actually like the most frustrating experience I've ever had with the product because they released it, but the firmware wasn't even available yet to make the Ninja 5 compatible with their own Atomos branded switcher, which was overall a frustrating experience, but it is what it is. It's all good now, and it works great. So what's really cool about this, for people like myself, I already owned a Ninja 5. So I owned a Ninja 5, if you want to swing around this way. And what's cool is you can kind of jump between these different things here. And I'll put it in a multi-viewer just so you can kind of see the different views. But you can see there's different looks here. Now what's cool about that is if you have something like today, we're shooting a fitness shoot. We're going to be having the cameras just on tripods the whole time. And it's literally just staying there. Like it's not moving around. And so in the past, what we'd have to do if we didn't have a switcher is we'd have to go in and make cuts from A camera to B camera to C camera, always kind of deciding in the edit which camera would make the most sense to use. But it's pretty simple. Like, so what I can do is I can have a guy like Jordan, who's actually running our switcher today. Jordan's a great switcher operator, and what he can do, he can basically edit in real time. So he doesn't need to go in post-production and spend all that time, spend several days doing that. What's cool is when we finish this, we've got a beautiful ProRes file, which edits super smooth on anybody's computer, even if it's not the fastest one. And we can either run the multi-viewer here, or if you want to make a switch, this is kind of the view that I like right here. You can just click, if you want to come here real quick, I'll show you. But you can just click between the different views, and then you could show this one. This is just an Atomos Sumo 19 monitor, but it's all HDMI. You can use any monitor you want. You can use a computer monitor, you can use a TV, you can use another 7-inch monitor if you want. But what I really like is how compact this is. It's a nice little setup, so you can just switch between the different views here, and then you can show it on there, a little bit more of a wide view. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I think it's like 350 bucks. So if you already own a Ninja 5, I would highly recommend getting one if you do any type of multicam work, even if it's for like 1 day's worth of production. Like an extra $350, like depending on what you charge for editing and whatnot. But if it can save you like 1 day of editing, it's a pretty massive saving. So for me and for our team, it makes a ton of sense. So I was pretty hyped on that, as you could probably tell. But just want to show you guys that quick little setup. In terms of lighting, what we're using all aperture lights here. So up top, we've got 600D as our key light. We've got a 300D Mark II as basically our secondary key light. And then we have 2 backlights. So one is a 300D Mark II, which is a background light. And that's actually firing through our custom homemade gobo, which has been in about 10 shoots for the behind the scenes, which is pretty cool. But all that is just, it's a piece of poster board with some slats cut in it. And I'll show right now on the screen what that looks like. But what that does is that kind of just breaks up the background a little bit, gives a little bit more texture because the location we're shooting in isn't the most interesting. We also have a hair light too, and what that does is it kind of just edges out our subject just a little bit, giving a nice little hot edge. And a lot of times with fitness stuff, I really like using hair lights because as soon as they start sweating, it kind of gives like a little bit of like a glisten to the sweat, especially if they have darker skin tones. So I think that's a cool look. With our key light, one thing I did want to show actually, oh yeah, sorry, one more light. We have another 600D just bouncing into the ceiling. So one of the challenges of this location is because we have skylights here, we start shooting in the morning when it's kind of overcast, and then the sun comes out through the day. So basically the amount of ambient light throughout the day is increasing. So what we decided to do was keep a 600D on standby and fire it into the ceiling. So in the morning when it's really dim, we just increase the ambient exposure with our light. And as we go throughout the day, the ambient light is increasing and we just back off our 600D just a little bit so it kind of remains that steady light. Okay, so a bonus tip. It's always a good idea to label your camera. This is the C camera, so C001. And as you go throughout the day, so to the second card would be C002 and C003. And then on your A cam, it's gonna be A001, A002. And what that'll do is it'll help you stay organized with your media. Bonus tip number 2, if you wanna come on over here. This is like my pride and joy because I built this thing. It's a little bit not so great looking right now, but here's my little charging case. This is like an old Pelican, I don't know, what Storm, IM, something. Anyways, I got some parts from Ace Hardware that I kind of just had. Actually, some of them were laying around my house, but it's like some zip ties and some things to hold it all. But basically, every type of battery that we're going to use, so you could show in here. We've got our BPA batteries for the Canons. We've got a V-mount charger. We've got a V-mount D-tap charger. We've got our little Sennheiser AVX micro USB. Why they're using micro USB, no one knows. They should use USB-C. But anyways, it's all there. And I even have this cool little like $5 Amazon Flexi bendy light to kind of light up our case. And this helps us stay organized with all our batteries. So anytime we're done shooting, batteries go off, go on here, and then the fresh batteries go on the camera. And I will show the batteries that we're using on the camera just because I talked about these before, but these batteries are cool and I do highly recommend them. They're half the price of the Canons and they come with a little D-tap. These are the Core Nano 98s. So they've got a USB on there and they've got a D-tap and they fit natively in the Canon and they can charge on your Canon charger. So if you have a camera like the C70, it's actually really good. Love these batteries and I'm kind of switching the whole team to have all our C70s run off these Nanos. Because, like I said, because they charge on the regular Canon charger, so you don't need to buy a different charger. And then the D-tap's great because if you run a monitor, we're not running monitors today, but if you run an external monitor like a Ninja 5 or a Shinobi or whatever you're gonna run, you can just literally take a D-tap to NPF cable. And you can run everything off one battery instead of trying to think, okay, is my monitor battery dead, my camera's dead. It's really nice, it kind of simplifies that whole operation. So in terms of teleprompter, depending on your client, you may or may not need a teleprompter. For us, we do. So this is all the fitness programming. This is a custom-made app by FightCamp. And this basically shows all the trainers' programming. So it's gonna be whatever, squat, torso twist, mountain climber. It's gonna show all their programming. But if you're doing something like an interview, maybe you're gonna need a teleprompter setup. Typically that would run off the A camera, at least in most circumstances that I've worked in. And oftentimes that'll just clip right up. I like using this one called a pad prompter. Let's see if I have any BTS of that, but it basically just uses an iPad as a teleprompter. It's pretty easy to use. But that's it. It's not like a super complex setup today, which is kind of why I thought it was an interesting video to show on the channel. And also just kind of showing like the integration with that Atomos little switcher. Like I said, nobody paid me to say this, bought it myself, but I just thought it was a cool piece of tech that kind of makes this whole multicam experience just a little bit better. So if you like this kind of content, consider hitting that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.